Hello guys, welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to create a professional naming ceremony flyer in this festive season. So without further ado, let's get to Adobe Photoshop and see the magic. So first thing first, what you do is you create a new document that you are going to use for this particular project. So you click on create new document, or you go to file, or simple, use a shortcut Ctrl or Command N on your keyboard to get access to the document portal to create your new document. So the size I'm going to use is 4 inches width by 5 inches height. You can give your document a title, or better still, you can leave it on title. Okay, so what you do is you hit on create new, or just hit on the create button there to create your new document. So this is where we are going to do all our magic. So I have already organized my resources. In case you do not have these resources, this should not hesitate you from participating in this tutorial. You can get the similar resources and also contribute or join us to do this together. So these are some of the few resources I'm going to use to come out with this naming ceremony flyer. All right, so first and first, what you do is you create a solid color, or you give your document a solid color. So the solid color we are going to use is the color code D3 8536. Okay, D38536. So this is the color code we are going to use for our main background, or just we are going to use for our document. All right, so the next thing is I'll go straight to my resources and then drag in some of the resources. So I'll just take the Christmas tree. I have the Christmas tree, very beautiful Christmas tree. So I'll just drag in my Christmas tree, expand it a bit, and then I'll position it at the topmost part of the document. So what you do next is you can rasterize the layer. Just right click and rasterize the layer, and let's set the opacity to 32 or 31. 31 is okay, right? And then what you do next is give it a layer mask, add a layer mask to it, and then pick your brush from the tool presets. Just press B on your keyboard and let's fade some portions of this Christmas tree. Okay, so you take your time to do this. So the next thing we are going to do is we drag in our second background. All right, we drag in our second background, and this is going to be the this particular background you see right here. Okay, so let's drag in this particular background. So let's drag this particular one and do some small magic about it. So this one, right click on it and rasterize the layer, give it a layer mask. Okay, but before that, make sure you drag it beneath the Xmas tree. All right, take your brush tool and let's brush some portions of this particular background. So let's get rid of this particular side and leave only the corner side we see here. I hope you get what I mean. So you can just take your time and do this. Again, our baby, we know we have downloaded some pictures containing just wonderful baby's pictures. You can see here the first one and then the second one. So let's drag in the second one, blend it to the background, all right, and set it at the corner here. Transform the image and reposition it once again. Okay, set the image to overlay, create a layer mask, and then let's brush some portions of the image. The next thing we are going to do on our flyer is we are going to import our informations. Okay, I've already written down my information, so these are the informations we are going to use. You can also use a similar information. All right, so I'll copy and paste and change the font to Poppins. Let's select some of them, and then let me select from this particular portion and change the font to Poppins. Yeah, let's change the font to Poppins. Poppins is right here. The Mr. and Mrs. we will leave it as it is, but this particular one we will change the font to Poppins. All right, so you drag it and position it very well, but later we will do some few adjustments on this particular font. So the next thing you are going to do is you have to create the main title of this event, that is the naming ceremony itself. So I want us to create some small shape on this background. Take our time and draw some small rectangle shape that is going to guide us to come out with something nice. something professional. Okay, so I think this one is going to help me. So what we do is we will just adjust the rounded corners, only this part, reposition it, and then let's get it done. So what we are basically going to do is we duplicate this particular layer for me, transform it, and then turn the field. We are going to turn the field to 0 and give it a stroke of white background. Yes, our stroke is right here, so you give it a size of 2, and then the fill type you give it white. All right, so this is what you are basically going to have, and then at the middle section here that we are going to do all our magic, all our the typographical magics for the main title, which is going to be the naming ceremony. So you can select it and then adjust it to the center part of the design, or just the middle part of the design. Just give it a click, and then let me go straight to my document section and select only the word naming. It's naming ceremony and dedication service. So we just copy it and then come right here and paste it. You are not seeing it because it's also white, so you just change the color to any color at all, so that later you then take your time to work on the colors. All right, so let's expand it and reposition it. Okay, so you can then bring it at the top part here and do some few adjustments. Change the font. Let's do this by going to the font section, click, and then change the font to let me see, a font that will be easy for us. So let's use a font called Angel Bandit. So if you are not seeing it, or you don't have it, you can download the Angel Bandit. So let me just type in Angel Bandit, the font will pop out. So I think this is the font. Yes, so this is the font I want to use for this particular tutorial. All right, we are just going to apply some few glyphs to this particular font. So just move straight to the glyphs, and then this is the name of our font. Okay, any letter that you want to apply a glyph to, you select that particular letter, and then you just apply your glyph. So I want to change the word M to just a normal M, so I'll just click and change the M. What again, the I too, I would like to change it to normal I. I'll just click and change it to normal I. N, I want to change it to normal N, so I'll click. And my J too, I would like to change it to normal G here, so that one too, I think. So this is the few adjustments I really wanted to use on my title. So the word naming, I think the N and the A, I would like to leave it some kind of text effect, just to guide us. All right, so we can leave this one the way it is. All right, so the next thing is, let's apply some few color to this one. So we will just give it a gradient overlay. Let's give it a gradient overlay. So you can adjust it any point in time. So this is the color I'll use. So let's maintain this color, give it some kind of 3D nature, you get me? So that's just use simple bevel and emboss for this particular. So just hit on bevel and emboss. So now you see automatically our text, the nature of our text changed completely. So we can maintain this beveling for now. I think it's at 10. Let me increase it a bit. Yeah, I think 20 is okay for me now. And then you just hit on OK. All right, so when you expand, you could see that the text looks like a bit of like 3D nature. All right, hit Control Command J on your keyboard to duplicate this particular one, reduce the size, and type in the word ceremony. All right, so we are doing everything step by step. So let's type in the word ceremony. Okay, so now this is what we are actually going to have. So move straight to glyphs, and let's change, I think, the word E, the letter E. Select it and change it to normal E. And then I think RE to change the word R2 to just normal R. All right, this one to change it to normal E. And then the word money, the capital, the M, I think I'll leave it as it is, but I'll change the O to normal O. These are little effect we normally do in our design, so you can check on the N to change it to normal N. Okay, the Y2 we can change it to normal Y. All right, So if you have it right there, I think we are good to go. So we are going to have some effect. These are the effect we are going to have. All right, so you can just expand the size once again, increase it a bit, okay, to match. Always make sure the alignment is correct. You hit on OK or you mark it out. So now we are on point. So then let's move straight and then check. So we have naming ceremony and what? I think naming ceremony and dedication service. You get me? So let's duplicate this one and write the word end. So the word end, I would like to use a font called Propeller, B-R-O-P. Automatically it pops up here, right? Increase the size a bit. Even that one, we can apply some little glides to it. So maybe if you want to apply some glides to A, you can just go to your glides and check on the word A. Okay, so you can just, the font here, the name is still at the old font, the Angel Banded Demo. So you can just highlight everything and then you change it to the word propeller. So now let's work on the entire font. So let's change the A, give it a bit of stylish. So let's change the A to this particular form, and the D to, maybe we can give it a bit of, let's use this particular one. So select B, change the D to this one, hit on OK. All right, add a line mark to it. So maybe you can just draw some small line to show the actual representation of the word N, where it's heading towards. So we can give it a color. All right, so let's give it a color. It's not showing. Let's pick the color from this part. So at this session, you can group all the title together, group everything together from the word N to the rectangle we created. Just select everything, hit Control Command G. All right, so the moment you turn it off, it turns everything together. So you can adjust it any point in time. You can adjust it together. All right, so we are not done. I think we left with the word dedication service. That's naming ceremony and dedication service. So the next thing we are going to do on our flyer is change the whole nature of the middle or the inner rounded rectangle. All right, so I want us to give it beveling and emboss. So just go to the adjustment layer and then give it beveling and emboss. All right, but we set the bevel and emboss to inner bevel. All right, so change something like this. This is what I mean. We set it to inner beveling for about, maybe, let me say 71. Let's increase the size to about 71. I want us to have something like 3D nature. You get me? Reduce the shadows and the lightness. Let's reduce the shadows and the lightness, highlight mode. So let's reduce the highlight a bit, and the shadows too. Let's reduce the shadows a bit. So we can have a shadow like this, which is going to be cool, and the highlight too, I think, is okay. Yes, something like this is going to be okay. All right, hit on OK, and then drag and position it very well. So what you are going to do next is you check and write the word dedication. So we can still duplicate the font that we really want to duplicate. So let's duplicate this particular font, drag it here, and use it to write the word dedication. All right, so let's type in the word dedication. So let's deal with it this way. Click on it, then you clear the layer style so that we just maintain a solid color for that particular one. Okay, so let's maintain it at a solid color. Create a new layer, pick your pen tool, and then let's just give it something simple. Okay, so you can come outskirt of this one. So you can just let's see, maybe, yes, this is what I want. So you can reposition it once again. Okay, just take your time to reposition it. Break the handle and join it to the other one. Right click on it and fill this particular path with any color of your choice. All right, so let's just give it this wine color automatically, deep wine automatically. You hit on OK, then you take your time to rearrange this. You could see that it's outskirt of the main shape. So what you do is you pick your marquee tool, just ensure a proper alignment and cut off the outskirt portions. You come to this particular side too, you maintain it, cut off this particular portion, and then let's change the inner one to beveling and emboss. Okay, so you go to your layer style panel and apply simple beveling and emboss to this particular inner shape. So let's give it inner bevel of maybe 20 or something like that. 71 is too much, so you reduce it completely. Yes, and then you hit on OK. 25 is okay. You can expand this shape, so we can further expand the shape a bit so that we get more space to write. Let's duplicate the word dedication and change the color so that we can use the color to write the word service. You get my point. So let's type the word service. So once again, let's change that particular font to a font called typography. I think that font to be nice for this particular word. Increase the font size and position it once again. So you can drag it anywhere you want, but make sure it's in line with what we have up there. Let's drag in our second baby on the flyer. We have this one too. I really love this image. So what we are going to be dragging the image and reposition it very well. There we go. Now our flyer is now becoming a well structured flyer. So what we are going to do next is, you could see that the image looks odd, even though it's nice, it's well edited. So what I want us to apply some kind of flair or just some kind of lightening effect to the face of this particular baby girl. So I want us to create a new layer, just a normal new layer on top of this image. Let's go to the background layer, select the background layer, and let's pick a color from the attire of this baby. That is the cloth. I think this side is okay. Pick your brush tool and let's brush off some portion of the image, something like this. Okay, right click on it and create a clipping mask. So automatically it blends with the image automatically. So what we are going to do is we set the color mode to overlay and then reduce the opacity. So the next thing we are going to do is time, the location, and then the other stuff. So let's drag in our informations once again, but before that, let's duplicate this dedication here. Let's duplicate it and bring it down here and use it as our time. Okay, so I'll go to my note, copy the time. The time is 8:30 a.m. The time is 8:30 a.m. I'll paste it right here and leave it. Okay, I'll change the font to Poppins. Change the font to Poppins. All right. And then reposition it very well. 8:30 a.m. Duplicate the time and then drag it somewhere here. Go straight to the note. I have Saturday, so copy Saturday and then paste it on this particular word. Change the color to the yellowish part and then you reposition it somewhere here. It's okay. All right. Duplicate the same layer. Okay, duplicate the same layer and then write the actual date inside. Right, so this is the actual date. The actual date is, I think, 14th December. So you copy 14th, paste it on the second duplicated layer. Yes, and then change the color to white. Okay, so you can pick the white color from this particular effect here. Reposition this and reduce the size a bit. So once we have them, we can reposition them and reduce the size once again. So let's adjust it to the upper part of this particular layer. We are going to type in our location. So let's duplicate the same font and type in our location. So what is the location? I'll just go straight to my note and copy the location. All right, so this is the location. So now select everything together, adjust the size and then reposition it once again. Okay, so drag it out a bit and then the next thing is let's give some small rectangle beneath it as a separator. All right, you can give it any color you want, but let's maintain white color for now. So you click and give it a white color and give it a broken stroke. I like broken stroke, so we can pick a broken stroke from this particular place, but let's use this particular type of broken stroke, maybe this one, and set the size to either 2.5 and then reduce the fill to 0. You hit on OK. Position the location a bit. So you can select this word and change the word Mr. and Mrs. Okay, you can just change it to yellow, just the normal yellow. You work on it, change it to the pure yellow you see on the baby's cloth or at the face here. Okay, now that one too is more visible. All right, so what we are going to do again is we can then bring in our icons to represent the information, say the time, the location. That one is a choice. Even if you want, you can bring it, but for the purpose of this particular tutorial, I will drag in the icons once again. So let's do some small effect to the outer layer of this rounded rectangle. So right click on it and rasterize the layer style. All right, I want us to fade some portions of this particular shape here. Fade this particular portion off. All right, and then let's maintain the other part. Okay, part broken and then the other part is joined, so it's all part of the effect. So you can also do the similar. I made mention of it to import in the logos. All right, so let's go back and import our shapes, our icons to represent this information. So I have the location, so drag in the location, hit on enter. It has a white background, so you can just clear off that white background by using magic wand tool. Just click inside, rasterize the layer, press backspace to delete it. You can now position the background very well. So now what we are going to do is change the color overlay. This is black, so I want us to change it to white. White is going to be okay. You hit on okay, and then the next thing I think we have is the date. All right, so you drag in the date icon. I have it here, the date icon. So you size it once again. I think it's PNG. So you size it and then you reposition it to match the other one we have on the flyer. Okay, so just take your time to reposition it. Bring it right here, just here. Okay, so the next thing we are going to have is is the time icon. What we are going to do is let's go to shapes. I think we can easily get from the costume shapes. So automatically this is the time icon. When you click on the shapes, it will come. Then you just browse through the shapes. You see this time icon there. Okay, so you just draw a very simple time icon here to represent the time. Hit on enter. Let's change the color to this same color. All right, and then take our time to reposition it once again. So you just make sure it's in line with the time. So now I think all the necessary informations have been imported on the flyer, and then I think the next thing we are going to do is drag in our QR code for other purpose. So we can drag in our QR code. I have our QR code here. Drag in our QR code and resize it. Okay, let's resize this QR code and then position it where users can see and scan. Drag it the layer on top of all other layers so that it will be more visible because it's blended to the backgrounds. Okay, so now you can see that it's more visible. You resize it and position it once again. So now our QR code is also being dragged inside the main document. So I think anyone can scan the code and get to the event. At the same time, we have location, time, everything is also represented well. So now at this point, I think all the necessary information have been imported. Any other thing you want to apply will be other personal effect. Okay, some little adjustment on the flyer. So I won't go much. I would like to use this opportunity to encourage you. Do me a favor to like this video, because the moment you like the video, this video will be able to go viral for other people to also tap in and start learning something new. And if you want to be part of my community, you can hit on the subscribe button, turn on the notification icon to all, so that any moment we drop a video, you have opportunity to join us. So I will not go further again. I think all the necessary things have been done. Other things are personal effect that you can add to this particular flyer, but this one seems okay. So I will not do any other effect, but you just add one more thing, that is just some little curves. Okay, so you apply some little curves to it. If it looks too whitish for you, just drag in a curve a bit. Okay, this is the curve. So when you take off the curve, you could see the difference. Yes, so that is all for today. Thank you very much for joining me to the end of this tutorial.